A responsible dog owner never walks their pooch on hot concrete. Your feet are protected by shoes, but for dogs' paws, roads and sidewalks can feel scorching. When it's hot outside, avoid these harmful surfaces. Stick to grassy areas. Your first instinct might be to shave your dog in the summer. Being covered with all that hair must feel like wearing a fur coat. What lots of people don't know is that dogs' fur shields their skin from sunlight. Without this protection, your pooch can get sunburns. Your pooch will be grateful if you stop taking it for the same boring walk every day. Dogs are curious and they love learning new things and exploring. Mix it up. Take different routes. Go to new places. This will make your pup's life more exciting. Showering your dog with affection after it misbehaved is a sure way to make the animal confused. It needs to learn right from wrong, and it's impossible if you start to snuggle or stroke your pet too soon after telling it off. You have to be firm, otherwise the dog will never learn the rules. A responsible dog owner will never neglect its pooch's teeth. Statistically, 5 out of 6 people don't think brushing their pet's teeth is necessary. That's why more than 65% of dogs have dental problems that go untreated. There's probably no dog that enjoys the process of teeth brushing, and it does take tons of your time. But try doing it at least 3 times a week, and your fluffy friend will be much healthier. Don't allow your dog to run while holding a stick in its mouth. Most dogs love playing fetch and then trotting around with branches in their teeth. But vets know all too well that such games can end badly. One end of the stick gets stuck in the ground, and the excited dog fails to notice the other end jutting into the air. It's much safer to throw rubber balls or toys. Trimming their dog's nails is something a good owner will never forget to do. Dogs do wear their nails down on hard surfaces while walking outside. But if your pooch spends most of its time at home, its nails have to be clipped. Just like you. If they aren't, your dog can accidentally scratch itself. Long nails also make walking more difficult. Don't let your pet chew up its toys. Dogs have strong teeth, and it won't be a problem for your pup to bite off pieces of rubber or plastic. If the animal swallows one of them, wow, it can block the digestive tract. Better give your pooch a special chew treat. A good dog owner knows when they have to be firm. Pups can be incredibly cute, but it's not the reason to let it run wild and rule the house. Dogs do need structure. Don't hesitate to be strict when necessary, but doing it in a way without hurting the dog or making it fear you. You have to show your pet who's boss around here. Overfeeding their pooch isn't something a responsible dog owner would do. Yep, even when it's giving you its best puppy eyes look. Some dogs don't have the stop mechanism for eating. You need to figure out how many calories your pet consumes versus how much exercise it gets. Don't leave your pup outside when it's cold. Yep, dogs do have the protection of their fur, but if the weather is too chilly for you, it's likely to be too cold for your pet too. A good owner knows dogs don't like to be petted or even touched from above, on top of their heads. This way, they can't see your hand, and an unexpected movement can frighten them. Try to pet your pooch from an angle where they can predict what you're about to do. Plenty of exercise is great for dogs, but don't overdo it. Your pooch might love to play, but it can easily get overheated. Make the animal rest for some time, even if you see your dogs having fun. A responsible dog owner will pet-proof their bathroom before adopting a puppy. Most bathrooms have cleaning chemicals or toiletries that can be toxic to pooches. Oh, and if you have a large dog, always keep the toilet lid down. The water inside is a far cry from being clean. Sharing your meals with your pooch may seem like an okay thing to do, but there's a reason why specialized dog food exists. It has all the nutrients your pet needs. The food you eat, on the other hand, may have some ingredients that are poisonous to pooches, like raisins, grapes, garlic, or yeast. Oh, and chocolate is super harmful to dogs. Your dog needs sunscreen on a sunny day as much as you do. Without this protection, your pooch can get sunburned. Of course, hairless dog breeds are more at risk than fluffy ones. The same goes for pups with thin or white coats and those with light pigmented eyelids and noses. But never put the sunscreen you use on your dog. It can harm your pet. Buy a special dog sunscreen at a pet store. Don't forget to groom your pup. Even if it has short hair, a trim might be needed every now and then. Dogs also need to have a bath regularly. A good dog owner will never ever put their pet in a truck bed. It might seem like a comfortable and good place for the animal, but the dog can jump out. It can get thrown out of the vehicle at a sharp turn or bump in the road, or it can get hurt when the truck suddenly brakes. You can look, but don't stare. If you maintain eye contact for too long, your dog might think you're challenging it. Feeding your pup apple cores is a big no-no. Apple seeds contain cyanide. In large amounts, they will be poisonous for the dog. Apple slices, though? Perfectly fine. Don't just assume your dog would get along with a cat. They might not behave unfriendly toward each other at first, but it doesn't mean one of them won't hurt the other when you're not around. Keep an eye on the animals until you make sure they get on very well. Doggone it! If your normally amiable pooch suddenly starts growling at you when you look it in the eye, well, stop doing that. Dogs take such a straightforward look as a challenge and may even attack or start barking at you. If the dog loves you and recognizes you as its master, though, it may look back and make those eyes big and dreamy. That's a sign of trust and friendship. Now, you've probably seen your pet going in circles over its favorite sleeping spot before finally lying down. That's okay. It's their instinct kicking in. It goes back to the times when dogs still ran wild and slept on the ground. They would smooth down the soil and grass with their paws, then dig and scratch at the ground to get rid of stones and tree cones. I still do that. Now they have all those fluffy cushions and beds, yet still they can't but make them even comfier. Running in circles without aiming to lie down, though, might be a sign that something's wrong. If your dog chases its tail only occasionally, that's fine, especially if it's young and full of energy. Just go play with it, and you'll both be all right. But when your furry bud does it too often, take it to the vet just in case. Sometimes, circling and tail chasing could mean inner ear infections or even seizures. "Riley, come here," you call and suddenly burst out laughing. Your doggo comes in hauling itself with its front paws while its furry bottom drags on the floor. That might seem funny, but the reason is usually far from laughable. It means your pooch needs to scratch itself in the nether regions. If it doesn't stop soon or repeats this behavior, take it to the vet. It might be parasites. You ever have this feeling you just can't take all the stress anymore and need to scream? Yeah, pretty much every day. Well, dogs can have it too. When your dog howls, it lets it all out, which makes it feel better. Don't scold your good boy or girl. They're just having a bad hair day and need a little comfort. Yawning in your presence can mean a lot of things apart from just being drowsy. If your dog yawns in front of you while you're all alone, it's a sign of trust and friendship. In the wild, canines yaw to show their submission. If it opens its jaws that wide in public with lots of people around, then the pooch is probably nervous. Cuddle it a bit to reassure it. Cuddles actually mean a lot to dogs. They can lie with you before going to sleep to show you their affection, or just lean at your legs while you're standing. It's their equivalent of a hug. And when you're sitting and your buddy lies on its side right on your feet, it wants to protect you from harm. You only need to wriggle your toes to make it stand up again. It'll take the cue. Now, you've just washed your doggo with a sweet-smelling shampoo and let it run around the yard. But as soon as it goes outside, it finds the biggest, deepest, and dirtiest pool of mud and happily leaps into it. To add insult to injury, the pooch rolls around, covering itself in dirt and grime, and then runs at you, smiling the happiest smile. Oh boy. Well, dogs do that, in fact, to get rid of that shampoo you just washed them with. Consider changing it because your bud clearly doesn't like the scent. Or it could be reaching out to its wild ancestors and trying to cover its own smell with dirt. This way, the potential prey won't see it coming. Beware, stuffed bear. You walk in the park and suddenly your dog stops in its tracks, its fur bristles, its nose goes swiveling in every direction, and it raises its front leg. Don't worry, your friend's just smelled something interesting and is about to investigate the scent. If it's on a leash, well, hold on, otherwise you're risking an unexpected run with your furry detective. When your pooch is done hunting, you notice it eating grass. Hey bud, are you hungry? Let's go home and eat then. Nope, the reason is that dogs need grass sometimes. It helps them better digest the food, and if there's not enough fiber in their diet, they compensate this lack with the green stuff. So consider making changes to your dog's food and try not to let it eat grass too much. Strands might be sharp and it can get cut inside, just like you can cut your finger. Now, you lie in bed, scrolling the feed in your smartphone, then look at your dog, and it suddenly gives you a wink. What the? Answering your question? No, it's not letting you in on some dirty secret. Dogs wink when there's something in their eye they want to get rid of. So take a look if they need some help with that. Or, if you stare at it long enough, it could wink to break the eye contact. Staring straight in the eye for a long time is a threat, so Riley's just letting you know you're cool. Every day, several times a day, you take your dog's food bowl to the kitchen, but then find it in another place altogether. And Riley's not going to explain himself, looking at you with those cutesy eyes of his. Well, hauling their bowls around means they're protecting their food from strangers. Not you, of course, but if there are other animals in the house, they might be prone to stealing each other's food. Many dogs love belly rubs, and if you're lucky enough, you can find that sweet spot on their underbelly that makes your pal's hind leg jerk like crazy. Remember it and go for it every time. Your doggo loves it. It feels as if you're making this spot itch and scratching it at the same time. Imagine how good it must be. It's an involuntary reaction too, much like the knee-jerk reflex in humans. So it also helps the vet find out if everything's okay with your pooch's nerves. If it stops jerking the leg at some point, it might be a signal to go for a checkup. So you take your best friend Max to the doggy park. He meets the labradoodle of his dreams, and they start playing together. Peaceful tail wagging quickly grows into biting each other. Oh no, they're going for the necks! You grab Max and rush back home. Well, in fact, there was no need to rush home. Playing with open mouths is called mouth wrestling or jaw sparring. It's a healthy way of interaction between dogs. They inherited this habit from their wolf ancestors. When a dog is a puppy, it has to learn some important skills, including fighting. Mouthing is just an imitation of it. When a puppy matures, it will know how to protect itself and respect boundaries of other doggos. All the chasing, wrestling, growling, and face biting is a way to socialize with others and have fun in the dog world. It's something like sibling rivalry and playful fights in the human world. You can tell your dog is mouthing and not attacking another dog when it's bouncing with happiness or lies down during the game. This way, it's giving the playmate an advantage. They can also switch roles. Now, some dog breeds are less peaceful than others. A doggy can also feel afraid, territorial, or overprotective toward its human. In this case, jaw sparring can grow into a real fight. When one dog loses the game spirit, bites too roughly, and holds down the rival for longer than it should, well, the poor playmate will start yelping. This can make the hunter and protector instincts in the other dog even sharper. When the dog's body stiffens, it stops bouncing and starts chasing, showing its teeth and gums. Well, it's time to stop that game. Things get even worse when you see the hackles on its back go up, and you hear some deep growling. If your pet is often going too far with mouth wrestling, you can consult a dog trainer to stop this. It's also a good idea to teach it to be gentle with humans when it starts mouthing. Like, let it play with your hands and you yelp when it gets too much for your liking. The dog will startle for a moment and feel like it's done something wrong. But that's good. This is teaching your dog something called bite inhibition. You can also give it a toy or chew bone for a substitute when it tries to gnaw on you. Cute kittens and cats under the age of 2 also practice mouthing. They often tumble all over each other and bite one another's necks to let out their hunter instincts. In the wild, cats are fast and merciless, and they can't hide it behind all the purrs in the world. Play biting with other kitties can also teach your little Mr. Biscuit to be more gentle when it plays with you and other humans, so it's all good. Play sneezing is something many dogs do. It's a sign they're happy and enjoying the process. When they're doing something fun, they often curl their lips. Their nose wrinkles then, and they sneeze. Such sneezes are always short as they come from the nose and not from the lungs. Dogs tilt their head when you call their name or make an unfamiliar sound to hear it better. They're trying to adjust the outer ears to understand where the sound comes from. They can't understand what you say, but they can catch a familiar tone and connect it with food, walk, or playtime. They can also guess what you say from your face expression. Tilting the head helps them see better with less of their muzzle in the way. Now, cats often knock things off tables and bookshelves to express their prey drive. They're natural hunters and explorers. The only way they can test a new object is patting, swatting, and knocking it down with their paws. Things that roll after falling make them playful. Once a cat notices you never ignore the sound of a falling something, it might start dropping things on purpose to get your attention. Cats like to sharpen their claws on your furniture to leave a visual mark on their territory. They also do it to let their claws renew and stretch their back and shoulders. The couch seems perfect for it because it's not too short and is sturdy enough. Well, you gotta find a good replacement with the same qualities to let your kitty scratch and release its emotions. Your dog gets sudden bursts of energy known as the zoomies when it's really happy. They can also circle the room at spaceship speeds to get rid of energy buildup after some sleep. For puppies, zoomies can be a nervous energy reliever. That's why they often do it after bathing. Now, your cat loves to sleep in the sink for nostalgic and temperature-regulating reasons. First, the curvature gives them the same feeling of safety and pleasant pressure around them they felt as part of a litter. Second, the ceramics can serve as a nice cool-down surface after some time at a warm windowsill or elsewhere. Finally, your kitty might just be trying to spend more time with you, as it knows you often visit the sink area. So every evening, right before you're about to switch off the television and go to bed, your pooch enters the living room. It sprawls out on the floor and seems to be watching TV. In 2012, in the UK, a company producing dog food created an unusual commercial. It was made to attract dogs' attention. The ad used special high-frequency sounds. They were inaudible to the human ear, but dogs could hear them very well. The idea was simple. A pooch gets so entranced by the commercial that owners can't but notice it, and the next dog food they buy is the advertised product. In theory, the idea sounded promising. In reality, most dogs showed no reaction whatsoever, meaning ads can't probably manipulate pets as well as they influence people. But even though this experiment was a failure, dogs still do find watching TV interesting. You may have noticed your fluffy companion react to animals, moving objects, and other images appearing on the screen. It's almost as if they see the same things you do. If we talk about colors, TV and reality don't look different to dogs. They see the world in shades of yellow and blue, and can't pick out green and red hues. Plus, canine vision is somewhat blurred. Dogs process what's happening on the screen in a different way than you do. When you watch something, your brain needs 16 to 20 video frames per second to detect movement. For your pooch, this number must be more than 70 frames per second. Let's say your pet is seated in front of an old TV. In this case, what the animal sees looks like a flip book. If it's a modern television, your pup is likely to be much more interested, because modern TV sets have a faster video frame rate. As for the content itself, dogs react to the same stuff that would attract their attention in real life. It can be squeaking toys, commands, and other dogs barking, growling, yipping, and whatnot. If the TV screen isn't showing anything related to dogs, though, your pet will probably remain completely uninterested. In a 2017 experiment, dogs were offered to watch different activities happening on 3 screens. The animals didn't show any preferences for one screen over the others. In fact, they didn't look even a tiny bit curious or eager to spend some time in front of any of the TVs. It might be because dogs have a super short TV attention span. Usually, they only look at the screen for a couple of seconds at a time. On the other hand, hunting dogs, which are innately interested in moving objects, can get more captivated, while those canines that mostly rely on smell will get bored in no time. Other pets, like cats or parrots, also seem to enjoy an occasional TV show or two. Many parrot owners are sure their birds love watching TV. They get excited when a particular commercial is on. They can even start flapping their wings, dancing, or whistling. But what do they see on the screen? A parrot's vision is different from yours in several ways. For one thing, its eyes are on the sides of the head, not facing forward. It helps the bird to see a larger area and protect itself from enemies. But even though parrots have a broader vision, they can't perceive depth well enough. It means that images on a widescreen TV look much flatter to them than they do to you. When you're watching TV, you see one constant image. But for parrots, the screen is constantly flickering at a fast speed. And the coolest thing? These birds can see ultraviolet light, but the human eye can't detect it. And how about cats? These animals are natural hunters. That's why they most often react to the images of rodents and birds. In one study, more than 100 cats watched TV for 3 hours a day. The felines were split into 5 focus groups. Each group had its own program to view, which ranged from the footage of people and animals moving to a blank screen. The average time the cats spent watching TV was a bit more than 6%. The most popular were the shows about animals. If your cat likes staring at the screen from time to time, try not to let it alone in front of the TV. That's it for today. So hey, if you pacified your curiosity, then give the video a like and share it with your friends. Or if you want more, just click on these videos and stay on the bright side.